All right, this is Edward Carbajal for Spectation Sports, speaking with Don Shainis, who taking a break from his workout to talk to us before next fight week next week, Cage Titan 60. Don, thank you, sir, so much for making time to join us. I appreciate you taking your break and doing this interview. It's always cool to see fighters in their environment because I feel like you guys are just looser when when you're in this kind of like flow state that you're in right now.
Oh, dude, I'm feeling great right now. I'm super caffeinated. I get to take a little break from my cardio session for the next, 20, 30 minutes. So, fuck yeah, let's run it.
All right. Well, I mean, obviously, is this like your last big workout before fight week?
No, I mean, the way I try and do my fight weeks is I used to spar up until today. And as I've gone a little bit older and learned more about my body and more about nutrition, I don't do that anymore. So I like to go into my fights at 100%, which is super rare for an athlete. So right now, even the last couple of days, it's about toning down my training intensity and more ramping up the cardio and making sure my diet and weight's on point.
Mm-hmm. Um, like, what do you do as far as like? I mean, obviously, you mentioned diet and weight, but like on fight week, like right now you're training, so there is no sparring or anything until the fight comes, or just hitting pads. What's the preparation like for
Uh,
you?
I might hit some pads. I might flow roll a little bit, but it's not even like I'm not trying to learn anything right now. It's not even going over game plan. It's just hyper focus on giving myself the easiest weight cut as possible, and then going in there and be able to perform as close to 100% as possible.
Hmm. And you're facing Robert Wustig. Hopefully, I'm not messing up his last name. What do you know about him? And like, especially fighting on this platform. I asked someone else on the card that's also fought in the UFC. I asked him the same question. I'm going to ask you. Do you feel like when you fight guys like Wustig and other guys, because you had some time in the UFC and Bellator, and like, do folks kind of like does it put a bullseye? Do you find that it puts more of a bullseye on your chest?
So here's the thing regarding that. Like, obviously, I believe I'm at a higher level, but you can't disrespect the game. Like, dude, I've seen crazy fucking things happen in this sport. And the second you disrespect the game, the second you fucking think, oh, I got an easy walk, nope, 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 can't disrespect the game. So I'm going in here like he's a fucking world killer, and he's coming for my paycheck and my health, and I want to take his.
Mm. Um, Talking about taking his, I'm looking at your record. I see the most of your wins come by knockout or TKO. I
Mhm.
mean, what got you into MMA? Is do you consider yourself a striker just naturally, or you know, some guys call themselves well rounded, some guys are jujitsu guys. What do you consider your base?
I mean, I grew up wrestling, but I developed some striking, and then I really excel in ground and pound. So I'm more of a pressure guy. I'm gonna be in his face. I'm gonna be in the pocket. I'm gonna be grinding, and I'm gonna put on a pace that not a lot of people can handle. So if you look at all my TKOs, they're mainly from me overwhelming someone with ground and pound and the pace and pressure that I put on them, and they don't seem to like that.
You know what's funny about guys that come from wrestling? When you get your first, and I'm gonna ask you go down memory lane a little bit, but when you get your first like knockout or TKO, are you surprised at the natural power and explosiveness that wrestlers seem to have when wrestlers learn how to strike? It just seems like there's dynamite in your hands, like automatically.
My problem is sometimes I try and hit too hard, which slows down and telegraphs my punches. So as long as I can relax, I know I hit hard. It's just landing. So even if I go from 100% to like 60, 70%, I know that that still hurts. But it's also a volume thing too, where it's like I get so excited sometimes if I touch someone that I want to just lay it on them. It's like, now you gotta take a half step back and use your peripherals and observe what's coming in and where he's moving and his body language and read that and move forward. But yes, I mean, dude, knockouts are the best fucking feeling in the world.
Yeah, it seems like it's like an addictive thing to have happen, especially when you're the one doing the knocking out.
Mhm.
Um, but how do you reel yourself back? Like there's always guys like you always hear commentary, and when people are watching fights at home, there's always that people watching. They're like, oh, you know, don't get too crazy, and you know, not worry about protecting yourself as you're still delivering those knockout blows. How do you reel yourself in from not going down that, you know, the tunnel vision of I'm about to knock this guy out?
Shit, man, I don't know. I'm probably the worst at this because because I get fucking excited in there and I get so overwhelmed with emotion and like, you know, for me at least, it's like I know that I'm supposed to like slow it up and like pick my shots and shit, but I get so excited. So it's like it's kind of like luck and timing and there's a lot of factors that go into that.
I would imagine your team, like the coaching and stuff too, has a say, or somebody that could to kind of like tell you to slow down or reel you in from going
Of
into that
course,
black hole.
of course. Sometimes I go into fights too fired up
Yeah.
and you know, I hit that adrenaline dump, and then in the second round, I'm like, oh shit, I'm breathing kind of heavy. But it's like you got to remember though, you're in shape and you're not actually tired. That's just adrenaline. So
Hmm.
it's like, and then you're like, oh, my legs are feeling heavy, but that's all bullshit made up in your mind. Like you're not actually feeling that. Like it's 15 minutes. Granted, it's a ton of energy in with the pace that I use, but you know that's your coach's job to either rev you up or cool you down, and that's a timing thing. I don't think about it.
Yeah, that's probably the best approach to it. I got to ask you because we were talking about it before you recorded. And you have the shirt and you put it on the little banner on the bottom. You got to
Like,
tell us,
yeah.
shameless, how did the name come to be?
Oh man, like I got this as an Emmy. I think I had like 2 or 3 fights, and when I was an amateur, you know, let's just say I like to party, and I like to party hard, and part of it's like me not giving a fuck, right? Like me just doing what made me happy and having fun. But like the other part of it is like, all right, I actually care about this one thing so much that I'll sacrifice all this external fun and bullshit and I don't know. I'm just trying to redefine the term from shameless from not giving a fuck to giving too many fucks, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. It does. Two more questions and then I'll be done. But uh, your opponent, Wustig, what do you know about him? What are you expecting at Cage Titan 60?
Oh, I think he's gonna come in here and fucking shut up the crowd. I think he's coming in to win. I know he's got a family to feed, and you know he's coming to turn some heads. And I don't give a fuck. Like he's gonna try, and we're gonna find out on fight night. And I believe I'm the more talented fighter. I believe that although he has more experience, I have more quality experience and better wins with the better opponents. And this is gonna be a good fight for me to get back in there, get a win, get my hand raised, have fun again, and be excited without so much pressure and bullshit and drama and life just fucking me over. So, you know, this is less focused on game plan and fucking, you know, what he's gonna do, and more focused on having fun and what I'm gonna do.
Hmm. That's interesting that you say that. There was another fighter, former champion that I spoke to, and she had said that she stopped worrying about her opponents before she wanted to. Her path to the title, she said she wasn't worrying about her opponents anymore. She was just worried about being the best version of herself for the competition, and that just seems to be the healthiest way to approach any fight.
Well, you
So,
can't go in there blind. Like you need to watch some film.
mhm.
But I'm not fucking overanalyzing. Like my last fight, I fought Jack Jenkins in Australia. I'm like, all right, he's a heavy calf kicker. I knew the calf kicks were coming, and you know, I feel like I put on a great performance. But there were so many other factors that were going on behind the scenes in my personal life
Mhm.
that you know that I think clouded my vision of my main focus, which is me being fucking the best me I can. Like just like you said, like I don't know who that chick you were talking to was, but she's got a fucking spot on. It's not you versus him; it's you versus you, and who
Mhm.
gets to look back in the mirror. Because you're going to be put in compromised positions in there, and you got to be able to perform. And like, dude, only you know if you quit. Like,
Mhm.
there's performances where I know I could have quit. I broke my neck in a fight. It's like I know I could have
Mhm.
quit. Granted, I lost the fight, but I didn't quit. I fought 15 minutes with a broken neck. So it's
Wow.
like, that's another thing too. It's like I would have known I would quit, and I wouldn't have been able to look myself in the mirror. You know, there's no shame in losing, but at the other hand, it's like fuck you, me first. Like I'm gonna win.
Yeah, that's crazy. So when did you break your neck? How long ago was that?
2018, I fought Daniel Matos, and I had a broken neck.
Wow.
I fought
Wow.
15 minutes with a broken neck at 155, which is not my natural weight class.
Wow. That's
And
that
he's a
says
true 55er. There ain't no way he's making 45. It wasn't like oh he's a 45er fighting a 55. Nah, this guy was a true 55er in a black belt.
Oh wow, that's crazy. I mean, that was because because you said that just caught me off guard. I didn't know that about you. But wow, that's great. That's very commendable too. I mean, it says a lot about the type of fighter you are.
Yeah, for after surgery, you'll laugh at this. After surgery, I sounded like this. I sounded like this for like a year and a half. I'll give my fucking voice therapist a shout out, Jordan Peele. He's a white dude, not the comedian. Yeah, dude. I saw Jordan Peele was gonna be my doctor. I'm like, this a fucking comedian? I was expecting a black dude just because the other dude's a comedian. And he's like, white as can be. I'm like, all right.
Oh wow, that's crazy. So because of what happened, the tone of your voice changed.
Oh yeah. So when I had surgery, one of my vocal cords was paralyzed.
Oh
So
wow.
I think this is my original voice, but for a year and a half, I've sounded like a fucking squirrel.
Wow, that must have been quite an experience.
Heck yeah.
But so okay, so well, my last question is because of it, we talked about your experience. You mentioned it yourself just in the other question with the quality experience, having been in the UFC, having been belt, or getting a win at Cage Titan 60. Are you looking to see if any of these other promotions will sign you? The sport is so big now. You have a lot of options. Where do you see yourself after picking up a win this weekend?
So it's not a matter of if they'll sign me; it's when they'll re-sign me. So it's like I know I have options where if I string a couple fights together, I know the UFC will pick me back up. I win this fight. I know there's a couple local belts that I want to collect, but I'm open to Bellator, PFL, all the ONE FC. I'll fight in Asia. Fuck it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I mean that ONE FC. It's funny they held that one event here in the U.S. and so many fans are now, especially because they're on Amazon. So many fans are tuned into them too. So it's a good time to be where you're at, man. I mean the world is your oyster, and I hope you do well at Cage Titan 60.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Maybe I'll even fight for fucking Bare Knuckle FC. We'll see.
Well, I mean, again,
We'll see how the money is. If the money's
Yeah.
right, I'll fucking jump in. Let's go.
For sure. Don, before I let you go, if you have anything you want to plug, anybody you want to shout out, go ahead.
No, I appreciate you, Ed, for having me on. Appreciate the platform, but I want to give a shout out to everyone watching this. Be sure to check me out at Shameless Don on all my social media platforms. I kind of stuttered there when I said that. A quick shout out to all my sponsors. I want to give a shout out to Iridium with hooking me up with a couple new sponsors that we're ironing out the details. So I'll give them a shout out on Fight Night. But Two Fight Bros, Miss Fox Tattoo, Shovel Shop. These are coming off the top, so you got to bear with me. Shovel Shop, Mo Guys Removal. Who else? I said Two Fight Bros. Fuck. I had another one too that I was really excited to give a shout out. Oh man, I'm blanking right now. This is a tough list, but Elite Sports and Performance. That's it for right now. That's just off the top. So I wasn't prepared with the whole list in front of me to fucking rifle them off. But.
That's all right, man. Well, I appreciate it. I know you're in the middle of training, so I'll let you get back to it. But thanks again for making time to talk, and I'm looking forward to your fight next weekend.
No problem, Ed. You're the man.
Take care.
Peace.